Hey YouTube, how's it going? So, believe it or not, I actually used to have a pretty normal life. From a very young age, I was very active. I did gymnastics at 3 years old, and I did that for quite a few years. And then I branched into dance. So, the life I had then was definitely very, very different to the life I have now. And I thought I'd kind of bring some insight into the life I did have and when symptoms first became apparent and when I first realized that something was a bit different. So I was in grade 9. I've probably already mentioned a bit about this, but I thought I'd go into a bit more detail. At our dance studio, we had a Christmas recital, and I was going on and off stage a lot, and I didn't notice anything different. I was fine. I was dancing as hard as I could, and I was backstage for my next dance, and all of a sudden the the earth spun. And I looked at my mom, who happened to be one of the owners of the dance studio at the time, and I said, "There's something wrong. I feel like I'm gonna pass out." So she helped me sit down. Everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, what's going on? Like, this is so unlike me. I'm the person that would do everything and want to do more." So I'm sitting on the ground and the whole room is spinning and my head feels light, and so that was very weird. I didn't know what had happened. Maybe I didn't eat enough, maybe I didn't drink enough, didn't think much of it. So I just kind of continued on. Then in class one day, I was about halfway into class, and then all of a sudden it was that same feeling. The whole world spun. I sat down, and this time something different happened. I couldn't lift my arms up. I physically couldn't lift them up. I kept trying, but my arms wouldn't lift up. So that was really weird to me. So I had a few people carry me to the car and came home, had a good night's sleep, woke up, and I was fine. So that's when doctor's appointments started happening all the time. I was seeing all kinds of doctors, and so that was pretty much the start of it all. It just happened out of nowhere, just like that. And when we started to look back, there was more situations that were kind of weird. I went to a dance convention in Calgary, and we would be dancing for pretty much all day. And you didn't think much of it, you didn't really notice it, but my energy level was a lot lower. I wasn't doing as much as I would have done on a typical day. So that was another kind of sign that we didn't really notice. And another huge symptom I've had probably my whole life is my weird, funky pupils. So an average person's pupils don't kind of do what mine do sometimes. So my pupil can get so big that the color of my eye is gone. It looks very creepy. And I've had that my whole life, just really big pupils and just not really average, I guess. You kind of notice it as something weird that I just had. And so those were kind of the beginning signs. And my life then was super busy. From the moment I woke up to the minute I went to bed, I was always doing something. I was always out of the house. Like, my second home was the dance studio for years. And now my life is very different. For the longest time, after having to change my life, I didn't like to talk about the life I had, because my life being the way it is now, most people would never guess that I used to be the way I was. So I never talked about it. I never brought it up. It was just kind of, this is how I am now, and we'll just leave it at that. So nowadays, a typical week. So last week, or I guess this week, it's Friday. It was kind of very slow going. I was suffering from a lot of nausea this week, so I just didn't really do too much. Didn't leave the house too much. Just trying to get through that. Yesterday we did the mall because I was sick and tired of being stuck in the house. So the mall, I like to think that I can do the mall like an average person, but I can't. So like 2 hours is probably my average duration at the mall. And that's walking at a slower pace. That's making sure I stop and sit for a bit in between long stints of walking. And it's really hard on my body to do them all, to be upright, to be walking. And just the environment is very fast paced, which can be kind of overwhelming, knowing that I don't know when I'm going to have to sit on the ground because things got bad. I don't know that. So the mall can feel overwhelming at times because when you're in an area full of people, having to lay on the ground is going to draw attention. You can't, it's not going to draw attention. So that's always in the back of my mind when I'm in very busy public places. And again, that's something I don't mention to people. It's just something I deal with on my own. And I've gotten used to the fact that in case of emergency and in case if something goes bad, I have to lay on the ground and there's nothing I can do about it. It has happened a few times and it's not really fun, but that's just how it is. So that's my then and now. Hopefully it makes some sense as to why maybe now I don't really like talking about how my life used to be, because it is, that life is just kind of in the past. It's not really, it's just part of a story that I used to have, and it's not the story that I have now. So thanks for watching. Please like, maybe subscribe. Bye.